Hi guys, Neil the Grumpy Old Gamer, back again with another vlog. Basically now, this one's going to be about something that happened fairly recently. It's the age restriction that Gfinity have had to bring in for the Open. I'm going to keep it brief. The problem we've got, or problem I have, is that I have huge amounts of respect and actually very much like the guys at Gfinity. I think they are absolutely doing the best they can for esports in the UK. So I'm going to get that out there straight away, because I genuinely think they do not want to restrict the growth of whether it's CoD esports, any esports in the UK, although obviously this is going to be more about CoD esports than anything else. So I want to get that out of the way straight away, because I absolutely do not think they have done this in a purposeful way to restrict esports. However, the main part of this isn't going to be about playing. So all those that sort of took to Twitter immediately and had a rant about, you know, players being restricted, that I don't want to focus on. What I want to focus on is what we as a community have done over the last month, which is be very active and thankfully so in mainstream media, trying to promote esports moving forwards. And I personally now have a little bit of a problem with that, in such that we now, or Gfinity have, been sort of forced to go down a situation whereby we're now restricting potentially esports as a spectacle. And that I have a little bit of a problem with. Because I went to G3 last August, and a lot of you are going to say, well, you're only saying this because you have a young son who likes esports and likes CoD, and you want to take him. Yeah, okay, I'll hold my hands up to that. That is a part of the reason why I'm saying it. However, I'm not the only one. We all know there are a lot of people under the age of 18, under the age of 16, that love Call of Duty and love CoD esports. You only had to see that looking at G3, 4,000 people. A lot of them sat there watching Call of Duty and going mad for it. Simple as. That now we have a situation whereby, unfortunately for the time being, that potentially can't happen. What sort of prompted me, not prompted me to make this vlog, but I'm just clicking onto my computer now. There was an article written that sort of summed this up really now, and I was really impressed with the article itself. It's on MCV UK, which is a lot of you might know is a computer and video games website. It was written by a guy called Chris Higgins. I'll hold my hands up, never heard of Chris before, but yeah, really fair play to you, Chris, because this was a really evenly written article about how PEGI affects a game, PEGI ratings should I say, PEGI ratings affect a game. Gfinity's side of the argument, from Martin Wyatt and Paul Kemp, both gave, from what I can see, quotes either directly to Chris or he's taken those quotes from somewhere. So gave their side of it, but also encapsulated the fact that, you know, how can esports grow as a spectacle, as a spectator event, if we're restricting the amount and type of people that can go there. So that's sort of what prompted me. I had a couple of discussions on Twitter and Skype with people from different areas, CEOs of organisations, people involved in the administration of events, and all came from slightly different angles. So it was an interesting discussion. As I say, nobody... a couple of people came from the sort of angle that I'm coming from. More was put in terms of, well, this isn't really going to hurt esports because we can still stream and we can still get big figures on streams, and streams bring in revenue. And again, I understand that, but my passion is seeing esports grow as a spectacle. We can't go to mainstream media and say, we want esports to rival mainstream sports. We want esports to become an Olympic sport. We want people, esports athletes, to become UK Sports Personality of the Year. And then say, hang on a minute, only certain people can watch them, especially live, as a spectacle. You just don't get that with mainstream sport. So why, in a situation, I understand why in terms of the PEGI rating, that I get. However, we've got to look at ways and means, whether that be through Activision, whether that be through PEGI, whether that be through Sledgehammer Games or Gfinity, and I'm sure Gfinity are already doing this. I don't know for certain. I've not spoken to them enough and actually asked the question, but I'm pretty sure in the background they will be doing this. We have to look at ways and means to making this available to just about everybody. From my personal point of view, Advanced Warfare multiplayer should not be restricted. It is not graphic. It is not... I mean, for crying out loud, it's got bloody paintball dynamics turned on in eSport. I don't get why it could not be opened up a lot quicker than it's appearing to. And I said my main rant is, for the past month, we've made really big strides with mainstream media promoting esports as a spectacle, saying they get 40,000 to Dota, to League of Legends in big arenas. And I know they are not PEGI restricted games. I understand that. But we've got to resolve this sooner rather than later. We've come to a situation now where, you know, we've had G3 and things have been great and there was massive audiences and we want to drive that forward. I mean, Gfinity are moving into their own arena and prospectively are restricting themselves from filling it. Or not restricting themselves, are being forced to restrict themselves into potentially not getting the best out of it that they could do. And that pains me. That pains me. I have a passion for that. It's almost like this is coming... I know this restriction has been there for a long time, but to now restrict spectating is almost like a sledgehammer at the heart of advancing esports as a spectacle, because we are, in effect, restricting the main crux of the community from doing what they love to do, and spectating an event that they want to go and watch. And it's just, I'm a passionate person when it comes to this, because this is how I can see esports advancing. It has to be done as a spectacle. If everybody just goes, oh yeah, well we can always stream and get revenue off stream, people can still watch on stream, that's great. But that isn't advancing esports. That's where esports is now. It's going to stand still, just people watching it on a stream. That's not what we want. You know, the European Championships that have just gone, as great an event as it was, and I heard really great things, unfortunately I couldn't get there, but you had a minority of people in the audience who were getting hyped for it because it was an 18 plus event. If that would have been open to everybody and tickets would have been on sale, what a great event that would have been for European Call of Duty. Unfortunately, the restrictions that were in place, that had to be in place, made it, in my personal opinion, half the event it could have possibly been. And that's no fault of Gfinity's. Gfinity put on great events. Look at G3 as the shining example. But I just think it feels like now, if this doesn't get sorted sooner rather than later, we could in theory have a whole season of events that end up being diminished in their effect as being a great way of advancing Call of Duty esports. So let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Message me on Twitter, old_grumpygamer. Send that out to me. Tell me what you think. And then let's see what people's thoughts are. I just think this needs addressing sooner rather than later. You know, in the US they don't have this problem because PEGI isn't enforced as much. I don't think they have PEGI ratings over there, or they're not enforced as much. You know, as I say, the article that Chris Higgins did gave various information on there that I think enables us to move forward quicker than we really at the moment is seeming to happen. But you know, I'm quite happy to speak to anybody about this, but you know, I might have some of my information wrong, but I'm a passionate person that feels that if we don't address this now, we need to make this available to as many people as possible. And however we do that, you know, that has to be done to make esports a spectacle, because that's how I feel it will move forward. And I'm sure that's how the guys at Gfinity feel. But let's see what happens. But I really, really want to open this up to as many people as possible. But thanks for watching, guys. Leave me your thoughts, and let's see what happens with Call of Duty esports. Alright, thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.